Or
Lion King.
Thank you.
Lion Kill. No, can't.
Lion Queen.
Yeah, that sounds better.
all right, we're going live in a couple of seconds.
Lion King.
So we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good
Good
morning. Happy
morning.
Monday.
Morning. It's Monday.
Good morning.
Let's reshare that link so we can start getting. So we are live. Wait, hold on. Let me put this on mute. That way it doesn't echo. So good morning, everyone. We're back, Mindset Monday, ready to start the week super strong. Remember, the point of the Mindset Monday is for us to start a week strong with the right mindset and focus on the right things to do the right activities so we can have the most success in our real estate business, because we know real estate business is not easy. So today we have a special guest coming on later, which I'll introduce in a minute. But before we do, I want to thank first La Rosa Realty, Priscilla, for always collaborating with Evolution Network. So that is an amazing collaboration, and thank you for the support you always give us within the office and outside of the office. So thank you so much, Priscilla. You have anything to say?
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It has been a pleasure to be part of and be, I guess, the every week special guest. So thank you for that. And I appreciate all the support. And this is an amazing call to, collaborating with you guys to be able to maintain this agent engaged and be able to maintain it with that motivation that we need every Monday. So thank you for that. Quick announcement for the office this week, since pretty much the majority of the office is going to be attending to this event right here. So this actually Thursday and Friday, the Lake Nona office is going to be closed, whoever you have access to the office, if you have a client. However, we would love for everyone to be at this big event. Also, the following week, we have the Realtor Appreciation Day, which is going to be on the 26th. So 25th and 26th is the Realtor Convention, which I hope to see everyone there. This is a great opportunity to keep up with what's going on out there. They have classes. We highly recommend you guys to register before you go because the line is extremely long. I personally will be there on the 26th, so I will hope to see you all there. Following that at 5 p.m., we're all going to meet at Mango's. Let's go celebrate. It's an agent appreciation. It's free drinks, free food, and the opportunity to be able to, get to know each other on another level. So see you all on those 2 days, Thursday and Friday this week, and Monday and Tuesday. So busy week coming up, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So don't forget to register because that line is long. So she mentioned that we're all gonna be at Jaque Mate. Jaque Mate is how can I put it? It's the event. The way I'm not gonna take her glory, but Cheryl, go ahead and give us an idea of what people should expect with Jaque Mate and Checkmate Real Estate.
Good morning, everybody. So the week is here and Jaque Mate is here. So this Thursday and Friday, we're going to be at Caribe Royal Hotel for our Jaque Mate event. As Cesar said, it's not an event, it's the event. And why you should be there? Because you're going to be able to take home a handful of tools that you can start implementing like immediately. If you don't know where you're going to get there, just think about if you don't have your personal branding on point, this is the moment so you can start doing it. It doesn't matter if you are a seasoned agent, how long you've been in the market, it's always good time to rebrand or to start getting your brand out there. Who's going to be there, guys? It's going to be a ton of amazing speakers from other countries. We're going to have Cesar Bal, who's going to teach us about specifically that, about branding. Also, we're going to have people that are going to talk to us about the importance of us to be healthy, to be able to build amazing career. You need to be good in your health needs to be on point to make wealth. And also, guys, this Jaque Mate is something that Evolution Network is putting together. They're putting their heart, their mind, their soul. So it's gonna be amazing, and you don't want to miss it. And it's gonna I think the VIP tickets already sold out. So we still have some tickets for general admission. And Cesar, do we still have some promotion code For those
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. With the sponsorship, sponsor 97 would gives you a huge discount on the tickets on a added value, and that's pretty much going to give you the tickets for $97. $97 of the tickets for Hakemate. So definitely take advantage of that because of the fact that there's so much time and effort putting into that because Evolution believes strongly in the community and believes that the value that they have to bring value to you as an agent. And this is basically for you for the community. All these speakers that are coming are there to pour value into all of us, not just the community, all of us here. And that value is how to be successful in our business, how to market correctly, how to do the marketing, and how to really stand out from the crowd. We're in the business there's a million realtors out there. Everybody and their mother's a realtor. And that is something that having your personal brand stand out from the other and having a unique selling proposition that's what's going to help you build that. And that's why it's so important that you don't miss this event and definitely take advantage of the value they're bringing now with the $97 at general admission. That is an amazing value for the amount of speakers that are coming.
And the discount is a sponsor 97.
Sponsor 97. Sponsor 97.
That's the code, guys. Don't miss it.
Anything else, Cheryl?
No, I hope I can see all of you there. Don't miss it. I promise you that you're gonna regret if you're not there. So see you on Thursday.
Awesome. So thank you for the announcements. I want to thank everyone for coming joining us on the Mindset Monday call. And if you know any agent that can gain value from this, definitely share the link. That way we can all continue growing all together. So let's get right into the topic because today's topic is going to be a pretty good one. I love this topic, which is delayed gratification. That delayed gratification sometimes is very difficult. But the thing is that when we have that mindset, that's something that later on will pay us tenfold. And that's who's the guest that we're going to be, the guest we're going to introduce in a minute we're going to deep dive into that. Because the thing is that we're in a world right now that is obsessed with instant gratification, instant wins, dopamine all the time. There's something that is we forget that rewards takes time. Hard work pays off. Success isn't a lottery ticket. It is the compounding result of the choices that we're going to make and the patience that we have to continue to grow. It's not something that we gain overnight because we all know when we started in real estate, we thought one thing and ended up being something else because we have to work hard in this business, and this business is not easy, and it's something that you got to put work into. When you become a realtor, your phone just doesn't start ringing. It's something that you have to go out there and look and search and be that person. So that's what this Mindset Monday is about intentional sacrifices today to unlock a greater tomorrow in your business, in your health, your relationship, and your life. That's the whole idea, because we're going to apply this not only to the business, but also to our personal lives as well. So that's what Zach Blesnick is going to be doing firsthand today, is we're discussing about the delayed gratification. And before we go ahead and introduce him, some of the things he's going to go into his story and as well what he does and, his backstory. And he's going to give some examples of personal. And then we're going to get to some key points, which are patience is a growth strategy. Sacrifice now, freedom later, which is a huge one. Your investment is you, and winning is in the long game. That's important. Investment in you and winning in the long game. So let me introduce Zach now. Really quick, Zach Blesnick is the team leader of the ACE Group and partner at Home First Lending. He is recognized as the top 1% mortgage broker in Florida. With nearly 2 decades of experience, Zach built his career on leading teams, building businesses, and empowering professionals to achieve more than they ever thought possible. Since 2007, he has been coaching, guiding real estate professionals, investors, and entrepreneurs, helping them master sales, strengths, their mindset, and create strategies for sustainable growth. He's the host of the Fully Funded podcast and has spoken at industry trainings, conferences, and panels, always bringing his direct, results-driven, and inspiring leadership. Beyond business, Zach is a proud husband and a girl dad to 4 daughters, very similar to me. And living out of the values he teaches: persistence, perspective, and the belief that when you focus on relationships over transactions, everything changes. So, Zach, let me put you on here. Hold on. Spotlight. Here we go. How you doing, Zach?
Good morning. Good morning. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
welcome.
No, thank you, man. Thank you, man. So thank you for joining us on this morning of Mindset on Monday. I'm really excited to hear everything you have to say and the value you're bringing to the agents that are going to be listening here on the call and on Zoom as well. So how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Monday morning, ready to get after it. Happy to be on this call with you guys, and hopefully I'll bring some well, I know I will. I'll bring some value to your audience today, and hopefully they'll walk away with some actionable items to get started for the week.
All right, awesome. So really quick, just tell us who you are, what do you do, man? And let's just start going from there because we want this to flow.
Yeah, no problem at all. My name is Zach Blesnick, as you mentioned. I was born and raised in New Jersey. I come from, I guess you could say, entrepreneurial family. On one side of my dad's side, very blue collar, like owned a convenience store in New Jersey. His dad owned a convenience store and a butcher shop in Newark, New Jersey. So very blue collar, wake up super early in the morning, work, nothing super fancy, but obviously was self-employed, work for themselves. My grandfather on my mom's side was an entrepreneur, started an accounting firm in New Jersey as well. So definitely that entrepreneurial spirit was always in my blood. And my parents never really gave me anything. They wanted me to always work for something. So my dad really instilled kind of that, hustle, go out, make something of yourself. From a very young age, if I wanted something as small as like rollerblades when I was a kid, right? He was like, okay, yeah, how much do they cost? I'm like, I don't know, $200 or something. He's like, okay, cool. Figure out how to go make $100 and I'll cover the other half. So, I was the guy who was like, you can't ever tell me no, right? Like I'm gonna go figure it out. So if I'm cutting lawns or doing whatever I gotta do. So I was the kid who, when they told me in high school that you can play sports or you can go work. I played sports, tried that out a little bit, played some football, but then I was like, man, I want to go make money. So when they said you could leave school at 12 o'clock and, go do the work study program, I was that guy, right? So I left and I just really enjoyed business and learning about different businesses. I had every job in the mall you could possibly imagine. From like the mall was right across the street from my house, so I could walk right in Jersey. So it was like I was working at the cell phone kiosks. I was working at the kiosks that during Christmas and the holidays, you could put your kid's name in like a song or a book or something like that. I was working at Aqua Massage. Anything you could think of, I built my entire sales career off of every kiosk in the mall. Those people that come and hustle you these days,
Yeah.
that was what, 20 years ago. I was doing that kind of stuff and just found a real knack and love for sales and learning how to say different things to different people and how to get reactions, by how you approach people and talk to them and treat them. And then also was able to learn a lot of things not to do, right? Saw some of these people in businesses, these proprietors, like running their businesses the wrong way, and just learn like, customer service and all that kind of stuff. And then, went to school, college, graduated from UCF with a marketing degree, but I had gotten in the mortgage business back in 2007. So I celebrated my 18th year in the business this year, which is completely crazy to think I've been 18 years in the mortgage game. But early on, got in March of 2007. By May, so just 60 days later, I made like 17 grand on a 60% commission split. So what does a 20-year-old, 21-year-old kid do with 17 grand? He blows it, right? I was downtown Orlando going to the club. I was going to the outlets and buying whatever and everything I could. And it was a crazy time. By October of 2009, I actually filed bankruptcy, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, like what, 22 years old. It was crazy, right? I just thought it would never end. I think your mentality, when you're young, well, at least for me, it was like, how much money can I make to spend? Not how much money can I save, right? So that was a super humbling experience. And, being in the mortgage business, I saw a ton of people during that time. If you were in the real estate game, like, people were going to foreclosure, short sale, all that kind of stuff. And I was actually helping people with loan modifications, people that hadn't made their mortgage in 2, 3, 4 years, try to keep their house. And I was like, man, I don't want to be that person. So I ended up cutting my ties, let my house go, let my car go, let my credit cards go, let everything go, and said, I just want to wipe the slate clean and in a couple of years I'll be back. So, by 25, I'll be able to buy a house again on an FHA loan. But I recognized something about this business. I was like, you know, two things I learned. One, you know, why I love real estate and mortgage is there's three basic necessities of all human beings, which is food, shelter, and water. And we're in the shelter business, right? It's like something that people always need. And then assuming you're in the right business and you see opportunity, when people are kind of running out of that burning building, sometimes you just got to run in if you see opportunity. So that's what I did. I was like, man, I really see a lot in this business. So I decided to just stick with it, right? And then kind of build myself up and create some delayed gratification, right? Some principles and some non-negotiables in my life that allowed me to build the infrastructure to stay alive and really be able to, grow in this business. So
Wow, that's an amazing story. I connect with that a lot because when I was younger as well, is we have so many different jobs and different things that we get into trying to find ourselves, trying to find the road. But what you mentioned about the part of you know at 20-year-old blew all that money.
yeah,
That's that part of how sometimes we get in trouble of trying to get the instant gratification, those instant wins, because we
yeah,
think they're instant, but in the long run they affect us. And look how it affected it brought you to a point that maybe it was a key defining maybe point, a key defining point in your life that when you went through the bankruptcy, it was like, okay, wait a minute, I got to make some changes here. So
yeah.
what was that? Was the bankruptcy was the key point in your life that made you was like, wait a minute, I gotta start making changes. I gotta start doing something different. If not, this is gonna continue going on this road. What was that key moment for you that was like the moment that hit you? Wait a minute, I gotta make changes. What's going on?
I mean, the bankruptcy was definitely a catalyst for me because it refocused on what was really important in life. Really, one of the catalysts for me filing bankruptcy was a TV show I was watching, which was Susie Orman. Do you guys know who Susie Orman is? She's like a
Mhm.
financial guru, one of these people on like on the news channels and stuff like that. And she's
Mhm.
just a financial expert. People go on her show, they ask her
Mhm.
questions, and she was interviewing somebody, and she was interviewing two different couples. The first couple was talking like, "Hey, Susie, this is again, remember, this was right around the downturn, right? When the stock market fell out, when the housing market fell out." And they were saying, "Hey, Susie, like, we're 61, we're supposed to retire in like 2 or 3 years, but we lost like, 60% or 40% of our portfolio, our 401k is like way down." And she gave them some words of encouragement, tried to change a few things. And I was like, I didn't really relate to that person because obviously they're retirement age. But the next person they had on was like, "Hey, Susie, like, we don't know what to do. We own our home, but we can't afford it, and we're actually making our mortgage payments with our credit card." And in that moment, I was like, and Susie was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, we don't want to lose our house. It's the American dream, blah, 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 blah." And like in that moment I realized that like the American dream is not like having all these things that is basically like a facade and fake, right? And that like, basically it just humbled me in that moment. I was like, what's great in having all these things if I don't really own them? And at that moment I was just like, what, I need to like take a step back and really look at what's important and not how much I could spend, but how much I could save, and what does my future look like, and delaying that gratification. So I came out of that experience, and I set some rules for myself, like delaying certain purchases or forced savings. Like when you're broke and you're bankrupt, you don't have anything, you can learn to live with something, right? So like making sure that I set up certain things for myself where I force a certain amount of money to come out of my paycheck every single time to build back up my savings, and just doing different things like that. But again, it just recenters your focus on what's really important. It's not, and that continues to change in life, because as you start to make more money, you find yourself getting back into those, those
Habits.
bad habits, right? And if you've been in the business for the last 15 years, we've had some really great years. So even I've had to continue to humble myself and saying like chill out sometimes. But again, like having those kind of non-negotiables early on has allowed me to not go off the rails.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I have a comment, but Priscilla had her hand up. Priscilla, go ahead. Go ahead with
I
your
just
hand.
have piggyback on that. I see it, a lot of the realtors, they get this big commission check at one time. Let's get 25K. And then they start working. This like, okay, that's
They're
it.
like, I'm
I'm done.
rich.
Instead of let me continue build up, let me continue go out there and still hustle like I have no money in the bank. But in this business is so common because you get that big check and you forget about all the steps it took you to get there.
Yeah.
So that instant gratification, like you said, it's having that delay, having like, okay, let me put this money aside, let me invest this money in something else that I can produce, or let me keep going out there and leaving above you need. I think that's another point that I've seen a lot in the real estate market because they want to show off. Like, I get that fake until you make it, but you have to be very careful. It's a fine line into fake until you make it by going out there and getting the latest car, the latest cell phone, the latest, design for ladies that love those design bags, stuff like that, and then not being able to keep up with it. So we've seen a lot of those.
I'll be the first person to say that, like, I think there's different perspectives. I think one person is gonna say, like, you don't need those things, they don't do anything for you. Having a nice car, a nice bag, or whatever, a nice watch, like, is a waste. Invest your money. I'm not that guy. Like, I like nice things, but one thing I learned early on is that you have to, create, assets that essentially pay for those things, right? So, like, before I got my first nice car after the whole bankruptcy moment, I made sure that I saved up a certain amount of money and actually went and bought my first rental property, which was a condo for $45,000 over in Ventura Country Club in Orlando back in the day. And I think I didn't have a mortgage on it, so I think I was getting, like, I don't know, 1,200 in rent or something, and minus the HOA and stuff, I think I was cash flowing like $700. And I was like, okay, I could take that money and now I can go and buy luxuries, right? So the delayed gratification, nobody's saying that you can't have nice things, but it's like finding the hacks to be able to enjoy those luxuries off of passive income is a big key to building wealth. And we're all in real estate, right? Like, if you're not investing in real estate and you're selling real estate, do you really believe in the product that you're selling every day? So that was a big catalyst for me in the early days for me.
Well, going back to what you were saying, when it has to do with everything you mentioned now, like now everyone we live such, like I said it when we started, we live in such a world now that is so fast. The social media, that whole facade that everybody portrays. I saw a picture on social media of something. There was an apple, and the apple on the front side was all like spotless, and on the back side was rotting. And that's kind of how people are right now. And and social media and society and it doesn't help with that because we want everything super fast. Our attention spans have gone down like what it was in like 2 seconds or something like that we can't stay in attention. So, that's something that all of us battle with, that whole part of, we want things now. And that part of waiting, that waiting period sometimes can be so difficult. And I love the fact that you said earlier, you set rules for yourself. You set rules to keep you on track, to keep you on track. I know your partner, Ryan, he mentioned, I love that. I keep going back to that. I always mention that the whole thing, putting the address in the GPS, because we talk a lot here about putting the address in on the GPS, knowing and understanding where you're going. That way you can set those rules for yourself and be able to hold and resist those temptations pretty much. Because at the end of the day, we want to resist them. That way we can get to the ultimate goal, which is the end of whatever it is that you put yourself to do, whatever goal you have in mind that you want to reach. But that part of setting your rules, I know Magda's gonna go and she has her question, but after that, and then Cheryl, and then can we get into like what were some of the key rules that you mentioned that you really like honed down on and really did not break at all?
Sure.
And then from there we go. So Magda, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. Yeah, I was wondering why do you think so many people delay their gratification in business? Because um, it's very difficult in this time, and everybody wants to do, living the life, do a lot of things because the social media is like requesting that, showing that. What do you think they are delaying that gratification in business that is so important for us?
You asking why they're not delaying it?
Yeah, why are they delaying it? Why? Because we gotta be careful with that because in life, if we don't do the thing that we need to do, is dangerous for our business. So sometimes we gotta wait
Yeah.
and do and wait in business, but they don't do it. What do you think is that? What do you think they don't
They don't
I mean, I think a
wait?
lot of people, I think a lot of people are just, there's a lot of things there to unpack. Number one, I think there's a term called keeping up with the Joneses. And keeping up with the Joneses is an old term just about like, comparison is the thief of joy, right? So people are always constantly comparing themselves to other people.
Mhm.
One thing I've had to learn recently is that nobody really cares. Meaning like you think that people are looking at you and comparing or like caring what you have and don't have. People are so wrapped up in their own lives that they don't care. So we paint this picture and story and we think that people care about what we drive and this and that, and it makes a big difference. Now, I mean, yeah, in business, like if you're a realtor and like you're showing up in like an old clunkety car, or something like that, like
Mhm.
yeah, we live in that type of society where somebody's probably going to judge you and be like, I don't know, is this person successful? But that doesn't mean you need to go out and like, go buy a brand new BMW and stuff. Like there's you got to be smart with it, right? And figure
Exactly.
out a way to be able to do these things. But I just think in general people are just you know they don't
Making
it's all
decisions.
we all fall victim to it. It's hard. It's not really something that is right or wrong. It's just more that people just they don't have patience, and that's a really hard thing to come across.
I think they don't have the
That's
investor
dangerous.
mentality.
Yeah, you have to have financial literacy. Like,
Mhm.
you know, you're a product of your environment and what you're putting yourself around every single day. So, like,
Yeah.
outside of my business life, I invest a lot, and only even more recently into understanding my financial literacy and making right investments. And when you start to see your investments grow, you change your focus and what your priorities are. So I think it's just a matter of what people's priorities are is a big determining factor of how they, approach finances and money as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I got
Sarah?
4
Thank
girls to
you.
pay for weddings, I think, so I have to chill out.
You better
Oh,
start
it's a
saving.
wedding, so
You
that's
gotta start
double.
saving now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Cheryl has her hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah. Guys, that I admire Zach because Zach he doesn't he's a hustler. I'm gonna put it that way, and I like that he always thinking in another way to find another stream of income. I'm gonna put it that way. I know Zach, I'm putting you in, but I admire you, my friend, because you're always
Thank you.
looking in other ways to have your income. And Zach, I know that you work with a lot of real estate agents. And your style is that you always tell them the thing like upfront. You don't
Sure,
you tell them
Cardinal.
what they need. They don't you tell them no what they want to hear is what they need to hear.
Right.
And with that being said, what advice do you give to an agent who feels that they're behind because they're not getting the result fast that they might because the business not the bit the yeah the market is slow right now. So there's a lot of new agents out there, and some of them they feel they're behind because
Mhm.
they're not seeing the results they're expecting or the fast as they want it. What about advice would you give them?
Um, Well, awareness is the first thing in business when it comes to growth, right? You got to understand where you're at. So if you think you're behind, believe it or not, that might sound like a negative thing, but it's actually a positive thing because you're aware that you're not exactly where you want to be. And believe it or not, it's later than you think. Business moves fast, trends move fast, things move fast. So if you're feeling like you're behind, um, I would be I would be dissatisfied. Like, I understand, like, you're dissatisfied, but like there is always time to be able to be successful as well, right? Because, you think about it, I think about this often, is that somebody is going to be born today that is going to be far more successful than any of us on the screen. There's going to be somebody who gets in real estate today that's going to be far more successful than any of us. I think it ultimately comes down to, what are your goals? Are you taking action? And are you doing what makes you happy? So yeah, I mean, if you're behind that, I understand that, I could relate to that, but it also depends on where you're at in your career, right? Like, you don't always have to be so hard on yourself, and a lot of times we don't, pause to really appreciate where we're at as well. So again, you might be feeling that because you're comparing yourself to somebody else. There's levels to this game. So just look at the level you're at and where you want to go, and then determine if you're actually really behind.
That's good. That's sound advice right there. I know, Norma, you have your hand up. I want to say a comment because it was after Cheryl. That part you mentioned, I know we're going to talk about the rules really quick before, and I'll let Norma go before we go into the rules, because I think the rules, having standards is extremely important. That way we have parameters to basically live by. Because if
Yeah.
we have parameters, we have a guide. If we don't have parameters, and we don't know what we're doing, we don't know where we're going, and next thing you know, we're buying that BMW and we shouldn't have bought that BMW. But I love that part that you said about, and that was something, and that's something that is very hard for, I believe, there's a lot for a lot of agents, even for us. The part of no one cares, no one cares online, no one cares. That's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. Because when you actually embody that and understand that it doesn't matter, that no one is no we're not that important, and I believe I'm not that important. Because we're all on the same playing field, we're all on the same thing. The only difference that I believe that us as agents is the ones that actually are taking action and having a thing to go. Those are the ones that really stand out, and understanding that, it just I guess it just opens up your mind to freedom, in the sense of
Yeah.
freedom, that you're not looking for that perfection. You're just doing, regardless of what anybody's thinking of. Because sometimes we fall back on that whole part. Oh, this doesn't come out right, or I need to do this. I need to, like you said, I need to go get that car or do this thing or take that trip, because I have to create this facade of my life, or whatever the case is, to kind of show who I am, or whatever the case is. So that part is it's a big one right there for me. That part that no one cares, and that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes, because you got to get out of your head and you got to get out of your own ego, to be able to embody that, I believe.
Yep.
Norma, go ahead. You have your hand up.
Hi. I believe in instant gratification when I work with the clients. If the client is ready, willing, and able, I want the instant gratification to put it on the contract right away and to close right away. Así que the instant gratification have to, the spectrum. But I want to ask you, Zach, how do you balance investing in yourself without feeling guilty or selfish?
Can you give me an example of, like, investing in yourself?
Sometimes we are all the time taking courses, taking
Training.
trainings, go over there. Every time, sometimes we have to sacrifice, or maybe the family, or maybe the things for yourself, because you are in constantly going out to do things for yourself, or investing in yourself. But sometimes I feel like, hey, I need to stop. I need to take care of these things for myself or for my family.
All right. Well, I can give you perspective from my situation, and maybe somebody watching can relate to this. So, I'm never satisfied. I want to constantly go out and learn. I want to go to every conference. I want to do everything. But for me, at least in this stage of my life, I'm not able to do that because I have a family, right? I have small children. I have 4 girls, as mentioned, and my wife. So I can't be out doing everything. So I would say, first, you have to get in alignment with your partner. You need You need to be on the same page with what you're looking to accomplish in life. Sometimes my wife has to humble me and say, like, you have a family now, right? You have certain responsibilities that you have to do. So I always say this, it's priorities. How much, what are you doing with your day? So again, when I say an alignment, this is a multi-part answer. So I'll just go through kind of some thoughts without in any particular order. So number one, for me, I try to do something when it comes to personal development, like a conference, probably once a quarter. I limit it to once a quarter, right? So it's like, what is one main thing that I need to do once a quarter? And the reason why I say once a quarter versus once a month and that level of frequency is because there's what you call learned knowledge and applied knowledge. If you're constantly going, and the one thing that I don't like about this industry is that I feel like people just all they do is go to classes, all they do is get on things, and all they do every day is this, and that, and they're never out in the field implementing. So if you're doing something quarterly, like things run in 90 days, like you go learn the stuff and then you go apply it for 90 days. Then you go back and you get your dopamine hit again, right? So I would say quarterly. The other thing is, in our business, we could travel a lot, right? So I make a rule that I don't want to be away from my family no more than 2 nights, right? So if that's something I could avoid, I'm going to be away for 2 nights. So if that means I need to make, flight arrangements to leave early or leave out late, I don't want to be more than 2 nights away. But also what I was saying is that there's so much time in the day. In the last, 6 to 12 months, I spent a lot of time in working on myself and things that, are improving different parts of my life, whether it's financial literacy or mindset or whatever it is. And we all scroll way more than we have to on social media every single day. Like there's so much time to be able to do these types of things. So whether it's an hour in the morning or an hour at night, like this morning when I worked out, one of my rules when I work out is I can't listen to music until I complete 30 minutes of personal development or audio. So you could find the time in the day to do that. So this morning I got in I actually ended up getting almost an hour and a half between driving to work and in the gym or whatever. So I got my personal development in, and you just have these non-negotiables. You have these daily best practices. But you should never feel guilty about personal growth. And, one reason that I am where I am is because for 10 years, I put my head down and I didn't really associate with my friends. I didn't go out. I didn't do a bunch of stuff. I just kind of just went into a hole, and that's a sacrifice that you have to make. And, just, wanting to invest in your future, like you can party on the weekends, you could do this and do that, but like, you got to ask yourself, where do you want to be? And are the things that I'm doing getting me there? And guess what? 20 years in, I can coast a little bit. I can enjoy time with my family. I can go on vacation. I could do stuff like that because it sustains my current life. Now, if I want to level up to the next level, which I'm trying to do right now, then I got to go back and I got to say, what am I doing right now that I need to change and make sacrifices? And that's things like not watching TV at night and investing an hour in personal growth and stuff like that. But it just depends on what level you're at and what you want to do.
Wow, that's there's so many things you said that I love about the part of, because it all lines up with your rules, understanding where you're headed, where you want to be at, and setting those right rules so you can have the most success. It's like you have to take inventory of every little action you're doing in your life right now and trying to see it and lighten up and ask the question, is this lines up with where I want to be, or does this takes me away from where I want to be? And if you have to be completely true and honest to yourself and answer that honestly, that way you can go ahead and then if it's not, then shake it off. Just like you said, you put your head down, you just separated, isolated, removed all your friends. That was basically what you said, right? You took you went away, you stepped back from everybody.
It's just I didn't like remove my friends. It's just that there were things that I sat out, right? Like certain things on the weekend or different events or different social things. Like I just sat those things out for a period of time because they weren't priorities to the things that I wanted to accomplish.
Awesome.
Because sometimes you need to be selective. You can, you need to set your standard in what you want to attend or not.
Yep.
Me, if that don't do anything for me, I say no. Bye, next.
Yeah. Well, that's very hard to do, especially if you're a people pleaser. For me, I don't know how to say no a lot of the times, but you learn over time.
Yeah,
If
that's
I
a
don't
big
make
one
me
there, too.
happy, I say no without regret.
Yeah.
Priscilla, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to mention something that's say like there's a lot of there's two type of agent. There's that one agent that wants to attend to every single training and seminar, and as you see them all over, like attending to every little thing out there, and that's amazing. I love that you want to go ahead and get that knowledge, but they're not applying that. They're not like taking, like you said, I love that part. I wrote it down. Like, okay, you go into a seminar, like we have a really amazing seminar at the end of the week. Take that every quarter, but then for the next quarter, apply what you have learned. So that way you can get yourself to the next level. So I feel like that's something that as a realtor we miss. Or there's the other one who don't attend to anything, don't do anything at all, and sit home and like you say, just scroll to the social media and waste tons of time instead of applying themselves to be able, but self-development, how did that work? How do you feel that that had changed your life with self-development? Like you said, I love that part. And I do that myself too. I work out every morning and I don't listen to music. I'm an audiobook.
Yeah.
So taking that, those are little things that we do for ourselves. Would you still like a big improvement on your life by having, you know, that time apart for yourself to be able to work in your mental?
Yeah, I when I got into personal development at 19 years old, I didn't even know what personal development meant. I didn't even know that you can go into Barnes and Noble and that there was a section that had self-help books. Like I just thought that books were about stories or whatever. Like I didn't even know that this concept even existed. And I think a lot of people don't even understand that there's self-help books and things to help you out, like staying positive and motivated every single day. It doesn't come naturally to even the most motivated people. Like it's a trained skill like everything else, right? So it's like, you know, especially if you're a leader in business, like, you know, like you have to be constantly feeding yourself positive information. And then for me, personal development, you know, because I run a team, is equally as important, not just to keep my head in the game, but to be able to have, you know, articulate conversations with the people that I'm talking to on every day. So listening to books and stuff like that will help you become a better speaker, help you think bigger, you know, expand your horizons, give you ideas and strategy for business. But, you know, the cool thing is most information for anything you want to accomplish is out there and most of it's free. So you just, you know, you don't have to try to figure things out on your own. That's what I love personal development is I'll just pick a topic that I'm interested in learning about and you know, I'll go from there and try to implement that.
Implement it. I think that's the key. Yes, learn it, but please try to implement it. I think that's again one of the things that we fail to do. So a lot of in the business.
Well, you said it earlier. You said goals, action, and be happy. So, but I want to say something. Well, bring it back to what the importance of something, because it took me a bit to really understand this. Because sometimes when we sit down and try to plan out goals, we're always thinking 1 year goal way out there. And sometimes when they're so far out there, it gives that false idea that we have time to complete those because it's a year out. So can you tell me why is it so important to break things out on a, because you mentioned quarterly many times here. So I'm assuming that you understand the importance of having it, like the nine, how important it is that it can help us in regards to our goals, doing it on a quarterly 90-day basis. Can you, because I want everybody to hear what you have to say on that, on the 90-day. Why is it so important to do it for 90 days?
I mean, I think that 90 days even is just the base infrastructure, but I think your goals need to be looked at every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we lose attention very easily as, you know, humans, right? 90 days, like if we don't have that instant gratification of hitting that goal, believe it or not, my team has found the most success when we measure our performance on a weekly basis. Yeah, we set big goals every quarter and we look at those every single quarter and how we're doing with them. But we assess our performance on a daily and a weekly basis. And when you want to be a high, you know, achiever, you have to be doing that, right? You have to be practicing and looking every single day and pivoting. Not every day and every week is perfect, but we actually look at our performance and what we're doing on a weekly basis, and we find that that's a little bit easier to run in, you know, a couple days or a week versus run for a month or 90 days, because most people don't have the stamina to run for a full 90 days, yet alone some people don't have the stamina to run for a day or two, and do something consistently. Like, I was just texting in my group chat, like, I've been slacking on my workouts for the last 6 months. It's been really bad. Like, I did really great for, you know, many, many years. And then I moved and I just fell off. Right. And, you know, I just texted a group this morning. I was like, all right, let's see if we can do this 5 days this week. Right. Like, you know, it's not like, hey, I want to lose X amount of weight in 90 days. Like, just start with today. Right. So I actually have, something in my iPhone, in my notepad. It's called Daily Habits and Non-Negotiables. And it's, for me, there's like 6 or 7 things that I want to accomplish every single day that I measure my performance. And it's both professional and business. So I like to glance at it. It's pinned to the top of my notebook so I can find it easily. And it's just like, did I do X, Y, and Z today? Right? Did I work out? Did I try something hard? Did I, you know, sit and have an intentional conversation with somebody? Did I make my prospecting calls that are important? And I'm measuring my performance daily. It's just, sometimes it's just one day at a time, honestly, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, measuring in that one day at a time can definitely continue keep us in line, and being able to measure on a weekly basis. I completely agree with you when it comes to that part. Norma, you had your question, and Wanda, you had your question.
I sorry, I forgot to load my.
One thing I gotta say, like for me, I'd go back and check on my phone, and I had put like how much time I'm spending in, like, let's say social media or just scrolling to my phone, and I check it on a daily basis just to see, like, did I waste time here? Like, I spent an hour. That's an hour I could have used to make phone calls. So I try to do at the end of the day what worked for that day and what did not work, and then I could say go for the weekly and monthly. And then of course that gets you to that final goal of being able to see how well you did in this past quarter. But I think also that daily routine is definitely something that at least it changed my life to have that daily routine and have my non-negotiable. And I teach a class about that. So I will see if I can get that class back on how to be able to build your schedule, time management, which is key in this business.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
key.
Super key. Having a daily routine, and for me, having a morning routine is like it's like the ultimate life hack. You know, when I get up and I just get going, my day is not good when it's reactive. When I'm up early, I do my workout, I do my personal development, you know, I hydrate, I do very specific things, like my day is exponentially better, right? So it's not like a theory. It's a proven fact that if you plan ahead and you know what you're doing, you can execute your day with such better results than just
Yeah.
getting up and, you know, going about your day.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Wanda, you have your hand up for last
Yes,
question?
well, yeah, I was going to, you know, about the daily routine. That's something that has changed my life too completely. So 100% agree on that. But you were mentioning about your non-negotiable. So my question was about that. You start talking about a little bit about it of, you know, what do you have written down? But that was my question. Like, what are your non-negotiable? Like, but you said something about like personal, and which is, you know, really good. We forget about our personal, you know, while we're trying to do this, and sometimes we forget that we should have non-negotiables as well in our personal life.
Yeah, if you feed your personal life, everything else will fall in line. So these are my daily habits and non-negotiables. I am not perfect. I don't get these done every single day, but they are at top of mind and things that I want to accomplish, right? So it's very simple. Work out every day, read in person, and working out just, it could be doing push-ups, move your body, right? Read and personally develop every day. Eat a great healthy meal every day. 25 prospecting calls every day looking for new opportunities. Make a hard decision every day to challenge myself to grow. Spend 90 days of quality time with family and spouse. pay it forward and give someone 15 minutes of my undivided attention. Can be a family member, team member, or friend, anyone I can give my energy to just to see how their day is and hopefully impact them positively. Read and take notes, or read the notes that I took in my notebook again, reflect and gather thoughts. A lot of times we take a bunch of notes throughout the day. You might be taking notes right now and you never even go back to it, right? And then take 30 minutes to learn something new. For me, I'm in the mortgage business, so it could be product based. I actually just updated this morning. So, because I want to make sure that I'm diversifying what I'm learning. So 2 times a week, I want to learn about a new mortgage product. 2 times a week, I want to learn something that's more sales and marketing focused. 2 days a week, I want to do more like personal development or financial literacy. So that's 6 days. I'm going to give myself a day off. That's just some of the stuff that are my daily habits.
That's
Wow.
amazing. So you have it set up on your calendar, because we don't put on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I know,
Uh,
sister, we have a
Tips.
question on the chat on YouTube. I don't know if you saw it
Um,
from Melvin.
Melvin, I'm trying to, he can rephrase his question because how can he, the question was, how can I build and grow my business without being there? I'm not sure. Do you mean not being present, or because in this business you gotta be present? In this business you gotta be present. So if you can rephrase your question, Mel, would be great. That way to see if make sure we're answering the right question for you. So, going back to the because yeah, I'm glad we got back into it because that's something that I wrote down here to go over, set the rules for yourself, and that to me is so good. That is so good. You know, that routine hack. Sometimes we're so negative about, oh, it's a routine is the same thing now, but we're creatures of habit. That's something that we have to do. A routine that keeps our mind calm and not like what you mentioned, not be reactive. Because sometimes most of us are just being reactive all the time. And with that reaction, we make bad decisions, we do the wrong thing, and we're not aligned or in focus. So that routine, I'm glad that I keep hearing it more and more and more and more about the importance of having a routine. You know, your daily habits, your non-negotiable awareness, measure everything you do. These are the things I wrote down. Because that's the only way you're going to troubleshoot yourself or your business. If you're not measuring anything, how can we troubleshoot if something's going off or something's going the down the wrong path? If we don't have any other questions, man, it's been a great call. A ton of value. I hope everyone on the call received something of value here. There's so much things to pick at here that you can just go off and build on. Because Zach brought a ton of value, and when it comes to understanding, the importance of, you got to work now to get the rewards later. Let's work now and get the rewards later. The importance of sacrificing right now for tomorrow, for a better tomorrow, is so important. Anything else anybody has?
And delayed gratification, that's a key, guys, especially like I said, back in this business. When you get that big check, don't go out there and spend it all. Remember.
I'll leave you guys with this to piggyback off of what Priscilla said. There's something I always repeat in my mind from a guy that was, negative in my bank account, right, at one time is especially for us in real estate where we get these big paychecks. And if you've come from nothing, right? So I tell myself this one phrase: if you can learn to live with nothing, then you can learn to live with something. And what it means is that if you've ever been really broke like I have, right, and you're figuring it out how to live off of $5 or $10 in your bank account, to get food or put gas in your car, like when you get these big paychecks, don't think that, set a percentage aside that and force save it, right? So whenever you have a certain amount of money that comes out of your bank account every single month, and when you learn to live with nothing, you can learn to live with something. The point is you'll figure out how to learn off the other or live off the other 90% if you save 10%, right? That's how you avoid, like, you have to set your bumpers, what I say, because even me, like I said earlier, you start to make a little bit of money, you can go back in your old ways, right? So you have to set up things that force yourself to save money and delay gratification in this business, or you're going to go broke over and over again.
Awesome, man. That's so good. That is so good. So there you have it. Delay gratification and the importance of, working very hard now to reap the rewards later on. set the rules for yourself, set your standards, understand where you're going. That way it's easy to set those standards. And we're not perfect. We're not trying to be perfect. All we're doing is we're striving to do better every single day. That's the goal. Strive to do every single day better. Just like the way Zach mentioned, he mentioned his list. He doesn't get to everything on a daily basis, but he's progressing every single day, and that's the important thing. Progression is better than perfection.
Thank you everyone for being here today. This Friday, we're not having our leadership call because we're going to be right here at this event. So just want to remind you, we post the link on the chat. Is on our chat on the offices, so you guys can click on it and be able to register. It's not too late. $97, you can't miss that. So see you guys. Thank you, Zach, so much for all the
Thank you, Zach.
nuggets. We have
Thank
Yes, thank you.
everyone watching us on
Bye.
YouTube. Thank you guys. And we see you guys next Monday.
Yes, yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It was great. Bye.
Thank you, Zach. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tito.
Guys, I sent you guys a link